All right. Good morning. Welcome. Hope everybody is doing well. We're going to start this class in our mountain pose like we usually do, except for this time we're going to touch the thumb to the index finger, the tip of each one. This is, oh, I blanked on the name of this mudra. Anyway, it's a very, I mean, I'm sure you've seen this one a lot. It's a very typical, very popular mudra for yoga classes. And so this mudra, the index finger represents the ego or the self, and the thumb represents God or the universe or you know, consciousness. So with the palms facing up, it's a receiving, you know, asking for kind of mudra, and having the hands with the palms facing down is a grounding effect of this mudra. So I was actually, you can close your eyes or take a soft gaze and pick however you want to hold this mudra. The middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger are extended. So I was looking for a mudra that can help with confidence. And, you know, there's certain times where, you know, we doubt ourselves for whatever reason, or we're feeling insecure. I think stress and being kind of in this internal, you know, so not only are we like in our homes kind of stuck in this or perceived stuck in this position where we, you know, we are at the whim of laws and whatnot, you know, we tend to get, if you know, if you're a little bit more introspective, if you're more kind of internal kind of person already, you might be even more so. So the prevalence of depression and doubt and different things is greater right now for a lot of people. And even though we are in touch with others, sometimes you feel very isolated. And I, you know, on social media and stuff, you'll see that a lot of people are saying that, even though, and it's a great time to be isolated because you are able to communicate through Zoom and Facebook and Instagram and text message and email, and, you know, so that's a great time to be kind of stuck in your own home, but, you know, it still can be very difficult. So I was looking for a mudra or even a thought that can help kind of build confidence and security. And so if you feel like you're connected to the universe or consciousness or God, you know, how can you feel insecure? How can you feel a lack of confidence? So this mudra actually, it represents being connected to consciousness or God or whatever. So it's yourself, your ego, connected to a higher power. And we'll just take a few breaths here. And we'll focus on the feeling of your index finger and the tip of your thumb touching each other. Notice where they meet. And then if your palms are up or palms are down, or however your hands are, maybe notice where you come in contact, your hands come in contact with your legs or wherever you have them rested. And then moving a little bit more inside, you can notice your breath. We're going to take just a few more breaths here while I go remove this whiny Yorkie. So he clearly could benefit from this mudra because he feels insecure or excited. I'm not really, he does that. He whines a lot. So we'll just take a moment to sit up tall. We can release the mudra. We can open our eyes. When Anderson was a puppy, he, you know how all puppies, they kind of whine and carry on when you first get them. And, especially because they've been removed from everything that they know and their mother and everything else. Well, he was the whiniest puppy I have ever encountered, to the point where at the time I had a Jeep and I got him in August. So it was warm out. He was driving me so crazy. I actually put him in his kennel and put him in the back of my Jeep because it was awful. He was the worst. I'm like, I just need an hour of no whining. So I put him in the Jeep and I immediately felt this like huge wave of guilt and I went out and got him again. But oh my gosh, he's just intense with his whining. So we'll sit up tall. Makes me feel so bad for him. And on the exhale, we're going to dip the chin down towards the chest. And then on the inhale, we'll bring the chin up and slightly back. We'll take just a few breaths here, kind of warming up the cervical spine, so this upper part of our spine. And think of when you bring your head up and slightly back, or your chin slightly back, think about having your crown of your head be the highest point, and kind of bringing the chin in so that your head could be in line with your shoulders and your sacrum. So kind of in like that. And then exhaling again, chin to chest. So now he's in there barking, which some folks are just never happy. And we'll bring the chin towards the chest and exhale, bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. You can hold here for a couple breaths, or you can follow the breath, go back towards the chest, and then roll the other ear towards the other shoulder. So it all depends on your neck. See, I like in my neck to go really, really slow and maybe even hold for a couple breaths on each side. So whatever works for you. Now, some people's necks are okay with tilting the head back. Unfortunately, that's not me. So if for you, if it works and it feels good and you can tip your head back, go for it. But if it doesn't work for you, don't feel the need to do it. Just a couple more breaths here between the two of them. Between the two sides. And then we'll come back up to our neutral position. So you can even take your fist and place it on your collarbones and rest your chin down. So that creates that crown as the highest point, and even bringing your chin back slightly, because we're all doing this so much. I even noticed in the car just now when I went to drop the kids off at the barn that I'm even in the car, I'm like this. So want to try to be aware of our position and in as many places as you can to kind of combat this whole rounding over situation that many of us have. So sitting up tall again, bringing your awareness to your core. So you can place your hand on your belly and your low back. You can kind of rock the pelvis forward and back. And for me, as soon as I start to rock my pelvis back, I can feel my core engage a little bit, or my abdomen engage. So we're going to kind of focus on the breath a lot in this class. We're going to focus on like really having that expansive breath as much as possible. So we'll take our wrist rolls, bring our wrist, roll it on up on the inhale. You can hold at the top if you want, or just continue on with the breath. Switching sides. Lots of cracking and popping there. Inhale, both arms up. You're going to push the ceiling away. So we're really, really getting tall through the spine. So just play around a little bit. So just let yourself relax a little bit with your arms in the air, and then work on getting even taller through the spine. And then relax a little bit, and then getting taller. So the taller feeling, the sensation of really lengthening up towards the ceiling, that's what we're going to do every time we lift our arms up like this. We're kind of stretching out, creating space in the spine. On the inhale, we're up, and then on the exhale, we'll fold. And notice if, you're not used to lifting up like that, if it feels any different in the fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Core is engaged, and then exhale and fold. We're going to sweep both arms up again. So we're really reaching. And then we're going to exhale, bring the hands through to the heart center. So again, we're tilting that pelvis back. And so I keep reminding you guys, because I keep having to remind myself to not stay in this overarched position, because this is what we do when our arms are up. We tend to kind of open through the heart and the chest, and that's great. But then we want to bring it back to that neutral spine. Take some wrist rolls. Come on up and over. I don't know if you can see Monkey. He's over here on the ottoman next to me. And he just caught sight of me doing the wrist roll. So he's kind of like, what? Watching each hand. Inhale, both arms up. Push the ceiling away, getting really tall, and then exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale again and fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, twist to the right. Come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands to the heart. So the chest stays lifted, but the belly draws in. Wrist roll. I saw a post yesterday about a humane society that is all out of dogs, or maybe all animals. I don't know if it was just a dog one or not. Inhale, both arms up. Push the ceiling away and exhale and fold. And that's great if all these dogs are getting adopted. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale and twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, right knee up. Give it a squeeze up towards your chest or out to the side by your armpit. We'll take some ankle rolls. You know, it's because people are home and they can actually take time for an animal. And it's great that they're adopting. I just hope that these people will keep these animals when we're all back at work again. Switch direction, your ankle roll. Extend the leg. So show me the bottom of your foot and lower it down. Inhale up tall again. Exhale, left knee up. Give it a squeeze in towards your chest or over towards your armpit. And take some ankle rolls here. So we're trying to keep our chest lifted and our knee lifted. And switch direction. We're going to extend the leg, show me the bottom of your foot, and then lower it down. Inhaling, again, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, bringing the hands to the heart. Okay, wrist roll. Almost said ankle. If you can ankle roll and lift your leg up over your head like this, you're more advanced than I am. In the asana part, flexibility, switching sides. Inhale, both arms up. Push the ceiling away. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale again and fold. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. We're going to exhale, right knee up, give it a squeeze in towards your chest, and then push that foot out. So again, you're showing me the bottom of your foot. Foot is flexed, and we're going to slowly set that right heel down. Hands to the left thigh. Flexing that right foot. Start to hinge forward if that's comfortable for you. So it's a big stretch, probably all the way up the back of the right leg. Might even be a little bit of a stretch in the low back, but only hinge forward as so not to be uncomfortable in the low back. You know, if you start to feel too much, you can back off or point the toes a little bit. Focusing on that breath again. And then we'll pull that right foot back. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, squeeze the left knee in towards the chest. Inhale, extend the leg. Foot is flexed. And then set it down, placing the hands on the right thigh, lifting up through the chest before you hinge forward. Oof, tight on this side today. I've noticed too, when sometimes I am not engaged or not lifting up or lengthening through my spine the way I should, it's I'm not experiencing the same kind of stretch. You know, I can flop over, not feel anything, or if I'm up and engaged, it only takes a little bit of hinging forward before I feel it a lot more. So it's interesting to play around with that. We're going to inhale the arms up as we draw that left heel back into our mountain pose, and we'll exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Bring your heels to the heart. God bless you. All right, we're going to take the knees wide. Take the legs nice and wide here. And so this is kind of our goddess legs, and we're going to have the goddess arms or cactus arms. And we're going to work on kind of the back muscle here. I believe it's the QL. Anyway, so that's where a lot of back pain is. So we're being up here like this, and it's just a dynamic movement. Don't worry about following the breath or anything like that. You just move side to side, and we're going to start to move the elbow down towards each thigh. And just sway back and forth. Go as slow or as fast as you want. And maybe you can even find that you can go deeper as you start to move. Maybe you can start to notice any areas where it's a little bit maybe ouchy. And try lifting up when you come back through the center here. And then we'll hold, we'll bring our legs back together here. And we're going to sit for a moment. So often we're just kind of running from one thing to the next thing that we never really feel anything. We're not experiencing. You can close your eyes, just check in. Okay, and take your legs a little bit apart for stability. And we're going to either interlace the fingers behind the head or come back to the goddess arm. So it's totally up to you. If the flexibility works and you can hold the fingers interlaced, and then that's great. So you're kind of pressing your head back, whether you're into your hands or just in the air here. And we're going to start to roll the elbows back. Kind of figurating these elbows here, or rolling each one to the back. And you can even kind of notice your weight change in your seat bones as you do this. And then we'll come back. We'll release the head and neck, release the arms down to the lap. And again, check in. All right, we're going to place the right hand on the right hip crease, thigh, chair. The left arm is going to come up and over, and you can even place your fingers behind your head. And we're just lengthening through this side of the body, the left side of the body, and we're actually going to send our breath into that left side. Imagine that every inhale you can separate the ribs, that you can create more space between every rib. It's such a change teaching in the she shed versus teaching in the house. Like, I'm sweating in here. In the she shed, I'm doing all I can just to stay warm. Just another couple big breaths here on this left side. And then come up. Good. Close your eyes, close your eyes, excuse me, and again, check in. You can place the left hand on the left hip or chair or thigh, and we're gonna raise the right arm. Oop, up and over. You can hook your fingers around the back of your head if you want. So like mine are pressed in almost like, well, right behind my ear actually. This shoulder for me is a little tighter, so it's not quite as comfortable as it was on the other side, but wherever your arm is, still just think about expanding through this right side of the ribs. And we're breathing into that side. And we'll come back to center. You close your eyes and check in. Again, take a moment or two to breathe here. Okay. We're going to take the knees wide again. Keeping the back really straight, the chest kind of lifted. You're going to hinge forward, as far forward as you can, keeping the back straight. So your hands can be on your thighs. You can even push your thighs open if that's comfortable. You can bring your elbows to the inner thighs. Maybe they're not very spread at this point, and that's okay. You can also bring your hands to the floor, kind of on tented fingers or cupcake hands, so you're up on your fingertips. We're gonna take our left hand and place it directly underneath your nose. Your right hand can come to your sacrum. So that's that triangle shaped place right on the bottom of your spine, basically right before your tailbone. And we're going to start to roll the right shoulder open to the right. We're going to take a couple breaths here. So the spine is long, but we're taking a little bit of a twist here. We'll now untwist. Place the right hand below the your face, and you can start to take your left hand to your sacrum and twist the left shoulder open. Still keeping the knees out. Mine want to instantly fall in. So we'll start to untwist, placing both hands on the knees, and your fingertips are pointed down. So they're inside your knees or inside your thighs. And we're going to dip the right shoulder between our thighs here. So towards the floor. We're pressing the legs out as we dip our right shoulder down. Come back to center, dip the left shoulder down. And we'll flow kind of back and forth. Come to center, right shoulder comes down, center, left shoulder comes down. We'll do just a couple breaths here, kind of flowing side to side. One more on each side. And then we'll come back up. Bring the feet together. Check in again. Okay, we're gonna lift the right knee, pressing down with the right hand, and we're gonna circle as we press down with our hand. So I am going counterclockwise currently. Doesn't have to be counterclockwise to start with. And then we're going to switch directions. What, Anderson? You're a little too vocal today, buddy. And I don't know how to help you. You're here and you're whining. You're in the bathroom, you're whining. Okay, we're going to set that right leg down. Switch to the left side, lifting the left knee as you press down with your left hand, and you'll circle to create some engagement here in the core. And switch direction. And lower it down. So notice some heat building here in the core. And we're going to circle. We're going to circle the whole upper body here. It's funny, on these chairs without cushion, it feels like clunk seat bone as they kind of come around. And then we'll switch directions. Good, and then back to center. We're going to tilt the pelvis back and tilt the pelvis forward. And then looking for that neutral pelvis, we're going to extend both legs out in front of us with heels on the floor. We're going to extend the arms out in front, and we're going to reach as far forward as we can. So I am reaching directly towards my phone here. I'm not reaching towards my feet. Okay, I'm reaching straight out towards you guys. And then slowly, I'm going to bring my upper body back. So I'm right on the edge of my chair. I bring my upper body back. I'm going to bring my pelvis up a little bit. So I'm tucking my belly button in towards the spine as I bring my shoulders back towards the back of the chair. And then I'm going to inhale, come back up. Start to come forward again, hands towards your device. Your gaze up towards the device, and then start to come back again. So it's very easy to stay neutral in this when you're straight up and down. As we come back, we're going to pull the belly in. So we almost make a straight line actually between the head and the feet here, and then back up. We'll lower the arms down, bring the feet back, take some shoulder rolls. Okay, bring the right leg out to the right. And you can even scooch over towards the left of your chair so that just your thigh is on the chair. The left leg can pivot so that your left knee is facing down. You can be on the top of your left foot or on the toes. So find one that is less crampy for you. And you can sit up tall here. So this creates it's a little bit of work to stay like this. We're pulling the belly in, staying really tall. We're going to inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling, and we're going to twist to the right and maybe reach for the back of your chair. So if you're sideways on the chair like I am, your chest is now turned towards the back of the chair. We'll take just a couple breaths here. Keeping that expansive breath. So the inhales are big. They're in the belly first. And then we'll untwist, come back through center, and we're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee, or ankle to ankle, your choice. So you're here. This is kind of a seated pigeon pose. We've done this pose before. You can stay here, very upright, or you can hinge forward. So Anderson has a lei around his neck because I was cleaning my room and found one. And he just happened to be there. Yeah, no wonder you whine, right? You got a hard life. He's very secure in his masculinity though, right? No. Mm-mm. Oh. So we're taking just a couple more breaths here. So you should feel some compression in your hip, maybe if your ankle is over your knee here. This is one of those poses that you can actually hold for several minutes. And then we'll come up, uncross that left leg, and bring it far out to the left. You can slide back into your chair so that your left thigh is supported by the chair and the right leg will come back. So I like to use the back of the chair for balance, at least initially until I'm settled, and then maybe I can take my hands away. We're taking a couple breaths here. Again, you can be on the toes of the right foot or on the top of the right foot. Top of the right foot makes it a little crampy for me, so I come up on the toes. So it's either whatever works for you. Sometimes the height of the chair makes it a little bit different too. We will inhale the right arm up, and we're going to twist towards the back of the chair. You can use both hands on the back of the chair. I want to check that our pelvis is more neutral. I was just shooting my pelvis forward again, an anterior tilt. Taking another big breath here. And then we'll start to untwist, come back to the front of your chair, and we're going to bring the right ankle over the left knee, or ankle to ankle, or somewhere in between if you have blocks at home. If they don't, if you need some kind of space between the ankle to ankle and the ankle over the knee, I mean, there's a good, I don't know, foot and a half right there, foot and a couple inches on my leg. So that's a big change. If you can set a block near it, you can kind of, meet yourself in a better position. Maybe the knee might be in a different location this time. For me, I am tighter on this side, so my right knee is up higher. Maybe even flex the right foot a little bit. So you can stay here, or you can start to hinge forward. Now this is something where you can feel it in the hip. Don't really want to feel it in the low back. So, and my chest is always lifted. My spine is always long. I'm not rounding. I do enough rounding in my day-to-day life. Kind of the more conscious I am of my position and posture, the more I realize that what is comfortable and what I'm kind of doing all the time, my normal, isn't necessarily good. And I think if we, there's always time to change things. But if you don't notice it, it'll never change. Taking a few more breaths here. It's definitely my position in the saddle too, because I am doing so much more riding right now. And I notice, walking, especially when I get tired, I start to kind of hinge at the hips and almost like lean forward when I'm walking, which actually makes my balance worse. And then we'll start to come up. We'll uncross. We'll check in again. Taking these little pauses and kind of evaluating or seeing where the changes are. It's helpful. We'll do our little rock to stand here. So maybe lean forward, press through the heels, lift the booty up slightly, let it back down. Take a few more. And you notice the slower you go, the more you have to use. My core is engaged, my quads are engaged. I feel some stretch kind of in the back of the lower calf area, the Achilles. And I also feel like I have like Bambi's knees apparently when I go to lift up, because my knees are like wobbling all over the place. And then we'll come all the way up. Good, march it out. And we're not going to do a flow behind the chair today. What we'll do is we'll do our 1 minute-ish approximately of whatever kind of squat variation that you want to do. So the feet together, chair pose. And again, you can go up and down. If you really want to work the glute area, you can squeeze. If you go up and down, squeeze the glutes together when you come up. You can take a wider kneed variation here with the feet and knees in the same line, or goddess pose. And again, you can still squeeze the glutes on the way up. Think of like a bar class, like ballet a little bit. You kind of come down, squeeze on the way up. So take whatever variation you want, whatever you want to get out of it. And so I'm going to do a giving goddess. So my pinkies are going to touch, my palms are open. You can do any variation of any mudra or hand thing that you want for balance and whatnot. And we'll start. So you can go up and down or hold any position. And I want you to either focus on the breath or even picture something that you're grateful for. And if you're going to picture something that you're grateful for, I want you to really picture it. What it smells like, what it feels like, what it looks like. If you're appreciating or grateful for cheesecake, I want you to taste it. I want you to really think about it. If it's a person, I just really picture that person. If it's a feeling, feel it. We'll do just a couple more here, a couple more breaths. And then we'll lower all the way down into the chair. Good. We're gonna pick the heels up. We're on the balls of the feet here, and we're gonna lower the heels. We're gonna drop the heels. So I'm making a little banging here. And in my house, it makes everything shake. If all the other big dogs were here, they would all be barking right now because they would think that something was going on. Okay. All right, and then we'll come up onto the balls of the feet really, really high, and we're gonna walk the feet in as close as we can to the chair, and then start to press the heels down. So my heels don't actually touch the ground because I'm very tight in the back of the leg, but it's to stretch the Achilles section of the ankle. Maybe bring them a little bit farther forward. Try to press the heels down. Maybe walk them a little farther forward. Start to press the heels down till your heels can touch. And then bring them back to where you normally put them. And we'll start to work on the wrists and hands. So where palm is facing the device, we're pulling the fingers down and towards us here, towards the back here. Coming back to that breath. So each breath is like snowflakes, they're all different. And if you're focusing on the breath, you can't really focus on anything else. Granted, our ears will kind of get us focusing on something else. So, you know, with Anderson whining or whatever else, you know, it was hard to focus on my breath because I kept going to the whining. I think if you're really engaged, you can block that other stuff out. So I'm reaching for the thumb, I'm reaching underneath and I'm pulling the thumb back. And then we're switching hands. So the other palm is out in front, reaching for those 4 fingers, pulling them back gently. And it's not that we want to block things out, but we want to kind of take a little vacation, a little reprieve from the outside world and come in and live in the moment. And it's hard to live in the moment. I would say when I ride is probably the most in the moment that I ever am in, because I'm not doing any grocery lists. I'm not thinking about, oh, I need this, I want that, or, you know, or what so-and-so said to me or didn't say to me. We're going to take the thumb, pull that back. And I am truly there. Granted, if the ride isn't doing so good, you know, if I'm training something and it's just not working out, self-doubt can creep in, or, you know, what am I doing wrong? But when you're checking for what maybe that you're doing wrong, you can check in again and be a little bit more present. So release the hands, shake the arms out here, take some shoulder rolls, and we're going to start tapping. So we're keeping the shoulders very relaxed. You can put your arms wherever it's comfortable. For me, keeping my elbows in at my side, that's kind of like the most comfortable. And we're tapping the karate chop part of the hand. So the pinky edge of each hand tapped together. Right now, that side of my hand is very ouchy again, because I have that crack there at the first knuckle of the pinky finger, or first joint, not knuckle. And then we'll tap the heels of the hands. And then if you're me, you just tilted your pelvis all forward, come back to the neutral pelvis again. If you're, you know, if you're tilted back, come forward. You know, so the bottoms of the thumbs. Eventually muscle memory takes over. So when I keep going back to horseback riding. I'm sorry, I do a lot of that lately. Um, when you're learning to ride, you're work focusing on your heels down and your hands and your seat and where are you looking, and it seems impossible to get it all right at all at the same time. uh, but eventually you start to your body, you get this muscle memory in your heels and they stay down, and you get this muscle memory in your seat and your pelvis and your hands, and it all kind of takes over, and you don't have to micromanage as much. Take the palm and your knuckles and you're going to punch into your palm. And I think certain yoga poses and posture elements, you'll start to get those as well as when we keep working on it. And it might sound really redundant and, oh my God, is she talking about the freaking pelvis again? That kind of thing. But it helps to kind of be reminded. And I am constantly, every time I have to, not have to remind you, but every time I do remind you guys, it's usually because I have to remind myself, because I have forgotten to breathe. My pelvis is tipped forward. I'm slouching. I'm not breathing. I just said that. Then switch sides. The breathing is a big one. I think, especially having to speak and like perform basically, and then try to breathe at the same time. And if you're one of those people that holds your breath while you're thinking, then that makes it extra hard. So try to keep coming back to the breath. And then we'll do the backs of the hands. And then we'll switch. Interlace the fingers. Hold and switch them all by one. And tap again. And then the web between the thumb and the forefinger. And you're tapping. And then switch. And then we will notice our hands. Notice the warmth, the energy. You can kind of feel, all this movement in the hands. You can feel every part like of callousy, dry skin too, but whatever. You're going to take your hands, you're going to place them on a body part or body parts that is challenging to you at the moment. And where your attention goes, energy follows. So we visualize the thing that we're grateful for, visualize that part that is challenging you. You can imagine your energy looking any way you want. It could be a rainbow with sparkles in it. It could be lava kind of flowing to it. It could be anything that you want to picture. Could be rays of sunlight. We're going to imagine that spot being bathed in this magical energy, the visualization of your choice. Maybe you can't visualize anything, that's okay too. Just imagine that spot or spots. Send some love to it. And I can especially feel the heat of my hands this time. It's like a very penetrating feeling today. And then you can release your hands down or away from those spots. You can come back to the mudra from the beginning of class. So no matter what, you're always connected. You could be in your house virtually alone or with, a select few. Even being at work with a mask on or having to be 6 feet apart can feel very isolating, but just know that you're never ever alone. You're always connected to the source or the universe or a higher power. And through this practice of yoga or practice of coming together as a class, we're all connected. I mean, maybe it's the time that we've actually spent in person, but I can feel you all. Take a few more breaths here. You can stay here in this position or place your hands in prayer or one over the other at your heart. And we'll thank ourselves for showing up and practicing together. We're watching the replay and practicing. And I pretty much say the same thing at every class, but and some teachers say, namaste, shanti shanti, whatever, not just, I'm not minimizing that, but for me, I wanted to say something that meant something to me and what is important to me and what I want everyone to take away when they come to a class. And it's, I'm sure you've heard it. It's, may we all feel loved. And I do. I want us all to feel loved. I want you to feel loved in this class, and I want you to feel loved, love for yourself, love for, feeling the love coming from other people. I want us to feel connected. We're connected through this class, but we are connected on all these other levels. I want us to all feel grateful. Feeling grateful, you can be more positive. You can focus more on the positive things and the things that you're grateful for. It's a attitude of gratitude. It's hard to be down and depressed and be grateful at the same time. And I want us to be have this strength and courage. Strength and courage are huge. And strength, courage, and balance. And the balance is having all these things in a measure that works for you. You have all these things, you have all these people behind you. So we're feeling grateful, connected, loved. We have the strength, courage, and balance to overcome all these obstacles, and goodness knows there's enough of them, right? So we're able to overcome these obstacles. And I thank you all for joining me. Peace and namaste.